Have you ever stopped to think about what goes into making, say, the microchips in your phone, or maybe the parts in a jet engine? How do they get everything so incredibly precise?
It often comes down to technologies most people never see.
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today, the global vision measuring systems market. We've got some really fascinating market forecast data here.
Right. And our mission really is to unpack what's happening now, where it's headed, and what's actually driving this industry. Because these systems, they're not just add-ons, they're fundamental. They're crucial for modern manufacturing, for quality control, basically how we build things accurately.
They're like the unseen eyes, making sure everything lines up perfectly.
Precisely, the eyes of quality control.
Okay, so let's paint the big picture first. Globally, this market hit about $112 million back in 2021. But the projections are where it gets interesting. It's expected to climb to nearly $3 billion by 2025.
Which is already strong growth.
And then it really takes up, potentially reaching over $5.8 billion by 2033. Yeah, that works out to a compound annual growth rate, a CAGR of almost 9%. That's pretty rapid expansion.
It really is.
So let's unpack that. What's actually fueling this kind of, well, robust growth?
Well, it's not just one thing. But a core reason is the rising demand for extreme precision. Think manufacturing, quality control, industrial automation, so many things you use every day. The components inside rely on this level of accuracy.
Like the miniaturization in electronics you mentioned, getting smaller and smaller.
Exactly. Smartphones, wearables, medical devices. They all need incredibly tiny, incredibly precise parts. And then there's safety.
Ah, right. Aerospace, automotive.
Definitely. You can't have a close enough attitude with an engine part or a brake system. The tolerances are minuscule.
Makes sense.
And I'd add to that the whole push towards Industry 4.0. More automation, more robotics. These vision systems are essential eyes for automated assembly lines. They use cameras, optics, smart software to measure parts without touching them, down to micron levels. And we're seeing this demand reflected strongly in certain regions, particularly Asia-Pacific and also North America.
Yeah.
They're really leading the charge.
Okay, let's zoom in on Asia-Pacific then, because the numbers there are, frankly, staggering. Highest revenue region, right? Over $842 million in 2021.
That's right.
And projected to hit almost $1.2 billion by 2025, and then a massive jump to nearly $2.5 billion by 2033. That's dominance.
It really underscores the manufacturing shift. Within APAC, China's the leader, pulling in about $255 million in 2021.
Okay.
But Japan's also huge, around $184 million, and India's not far behind at about $118 million.
So it's not just China.
Not at all. What's really fascinating, I think, is how broad this is. South Korea, Australia, Singapore, the whole Southeast Asia bloc, Taiwan. They're all showing really strong double-digit growth forecasts.
Wow. So it's a region-wide push for this tech.
It seems to be, yeah, a widespread embrace of advanced, precise manufacturing.
Okay, so Asia-Pacific is clearly number one, but North America, you said, is a strong second.
Absolutely.
The numbers there were $610 million in 2021, heading towards $852 million in 2025, and then over $1.6 billion by 2033. Still very significant growth.
Very significant. And North America's strength comes from its, advanced industrial base. High-value manufacturing, lots of innovation. The U.S. is the main driver, obviously. About $487 million that 2021 total.
Right.
And that's expected to grow to over $1.2 billion by 2033.
Okay.
But Canada and Mexico are showing solid growth, too. Canada starting around $74 million, Mexico around $49 million in 2021, both projected to grow substantially.
So, strong across the continent there as well. All right, let's cross the pond to Europe. It's got that strong industrial legacy, automotive machinery.
A major player,
So
definitely.
total revenue was almost $400 million in 2021, projected to hit over $555 million in 2025, and then break the billion-dollar mark by 2033, reaching about $1.05 billion.
Steady, substantial growth there, too.
Yeah.
It reflects that deep industrial base. Germany is a key player, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, about $64 million in 2021. Forecast to reach almost $157 million by 2033. France is significant, too. Roughly $50 million, growing to $144 million.
And the UK?
The UK is also strong, starting around $44 million and projected to exceed $100 million by 2033. So you see that consistent investment in modernizing.
And it's not just those three, right? Italy, Russia, Spain. They're all showing consistent growth in the forecast.
That's right. Italy from about $30 million to $85 million. Russia from around $52 million to $128 million. Spain from $31 million to $75 million.
Plus others like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland. It's quite widespread in Europe, too.
It is a very solid, broad base of adoption.
Okay, so we've covered the big three regions. What about the emerging markets? South America, Middle East, Africa. The numbers might be smaller starting out, but the growth potential.
Exactly. The percentage growth can be really impressive. Take South America. It started at about $144 million in 2021,
Okay.
but it's projected to more than triple, reaching around $445 million by 2033.
Wow, triple.
Yeah. Brazil's leading there, over $50 million in 2021. But you also see increasing activity in Argentina, Colombia, Peru, Chile.
What's driving that, do you think? Catching up? Competing globally?
I think it's a mix of both. Integrating more advanced manufacturing to boost competitiveness. We see a similar story in the Middle East.
Right, their numbers.
Around $74 million in 2021, expected to grow to about $172 million by 2033.
Okay. And key players there?
Saudi Arabia leads, about $24 million in 2021.
Mm-hmm.
But Turkey, the UAE, Egypt, Qatar, they're all contributing as they diversify their economies.
Makes sense. Diversifying away from just oil and gas often means more advanced industry.
Precisely.
And finally, Africa. Starting base was around $42 million in 2021.
Correct, and forecasted to grow to about $135 million by 2033.
Still significant growth. Key countries mentioned were Nigeria and South Africa.
Yeah, those are highlighted as key players.
Yeah.
It really points to, the beginnings of potentially significant industrialization picking up steam across parts of the continent.
So if we just step back and look at everything we've discussed. Mm-hmm.
The overarching theme is just rapid, really widespread expansion for these vision measuring systems. It's happening everywhere.
It really is.
Obviously, Asia-Pacific and North America are the heavyweights in terms of sheer market size.
No question.
But the demand for this kind of precise, often unseen quality control is clearly a global phenomenon now.
Absolutely. And it underlines how fundamental this technology has become. It might be specialized, it might operate behind the scenes, but it's critical to how almost everything is made today. That link back to the relentless demand for precision in electronics, automotive, aerospace, medical, it touches nearly every sector.
So here's a final thought then, maybe for you listening. What does all this mean? As these systems get even smarter, even more integrated, these unseen eyes of quality, how is that ongoing drive for precision going to reshape the products you use every day, the jobs people do, how industries function over the next, say, 10 years? It's definitely something to consider. How these foundational technologies, often quietly, just enable massive shifts. It underpins so much of the progress we see, from the smallest chip to the biggest plane. Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to cut through the noise, really, and bring you the insights that matter from the experts. Today, we're plunging into a sector that's quietly revolutionizing manufacturing. I'm talking about the vision measuring systems market, and this deep dive is for you. We're distilling everything crucial from our main source today, which is a really comprehensive report by Cognitive Market Research. They basically lay out how this whole market is being reshaped, by this relentless demand for precision, for automation, and, well, just pure innovation.
Absolutely. And for you, the listener, the significance here is, frankly, enormous. Just think about the products you interact with every single day. Your smartphone, the car you drive, maybe even critical medical devices, all of them depend on extreme accuracy. We're often talking down to microns, which is tiny. Vision measuring systems are kind of the invisible heroes here. They ensure every single component meets these, frankly, almost impossible standards. They make the tech you rely on reliable and cutting edge.
Okay, so let's unpack this a bit. What's really fueling this incredible demand for microscopic accuracy right now? What are the core drivers pushing this market forward?
Well, first off, there's just this undeniable surge in the need for hyper-precision inspection, pretty much across every manufacturing sector. As industries everywhere demand higher and higher production accuracy, these systems, they've become non-negotiable, really. They offer rapid, non-contact dimensional inspection, so mapping out the exact measurements of an object, and that ensures consistency, quality, all at speeds human eyes just can't keep up with.
Exactly. And when you look at the major drivers, the expansion in automotive and aerospace, it really stands out. I mean, these industries are famous for their incredibly stringent quality control requirements, ultra-tight tolerances, safety standards that are just uncompromising. What's really fascinating here is how these vision measuring technologies aren't just meeting the demands, they're actually enabling new designs, new materials. They make inspections routine that honestly were maybe impossible just a few years ago. Right. And it's not just industries demanding more, is it? The technology itself is taking huge leaps. We're seeing massive advancements in optical and imaging tech. Things like sophisticated 3D imaging, capturing an object's entire geometry almost instantly. It replaces slower, older 2D checks and incredibly precise laser scanning, accurate down to a micron, like measuring a single human hair, basically. Plus, we're seeing more and more AI-powered optics, systems that actually learn and adapt. And these innovations, they directly lead to higher measurement accuracy and, crucially, much faster throughput.
Yeah, the throughput is key. And what's truly game-changing, I think, is how these systems are becoming the eyes and brains of modern factories. This ties right into the rise of automation and quality assurance, especially with Industry 4.0, where factories are all interconnected, data-driven. There's this critical need for software-integrated intelligent measuring systems, systems that don't just cut down on human error,
Yeah.
but actually shift quality control from being reactive, finding defects after they happen, to being predictive. Imagine spotting a potential issue on, say, part number 50 because the system analyzed tiny vibrations way back on part number 1. That's the kind of shift we're really seeing take hold.
Hmm. But, pushing boundaries like this, precision, automation, it always comes with challenges, right?
Mm.
Because despite all this amazing growth, there have got to be some real speed bumps holding the market back somewhat. And one of the biggest ones we identified is the high initial cost. That's pretty common with advanced tech. But what maybe gets overlooked sometimes is the ongoing maintenance expense. It's not just the sticker price, it's continuous calibration, specialized software updates, needing dedicated cleanroom environments sometimes. That could easily add, maybe 20–30% to your annual operational costs? Which creates a barrier even for bigger companies, let alone the small and medium-sized ones.
That's a really critical point about the total cost of ownership, not just the purchase price. And it raises this important question, doesn't it? How do companies actually balance investing in innovation with, the operational realities? Because integrating these advanced vision systems with existing production lines, which might be older legacy systems, it's complex. You often need customization, you run into compatibility issues, and all that can genuinely slow down implementation. It directly impacts your return on investment timeline, too. It's often not as smooth a transition as you might hope.
Right. And then there's the human element. You pointed out a shortage of skilled operators and technicians. That's interesting. I might have thought automation would make the human role less critical.
Well, yes and no. Operating these advanced systems isn't just plug and play. It requires pretty specialized training. And frankly, that training is often lacking. This skills gap can be a genuine bottleneck, especially in emerging autonomies where maybe the training infrastructure isn't fully built out yet.
Okay, so a skills gap.
Yeah, and one more thing to consider is the rapid pace of technological obsolescence. Optical and imaging tech evolves so incredibly quickly. A state-of-the-art system you buy today could, unfortunately, become somewhat outdated surprisingly fast. This pushes businesses to reinvest sooner than they might have planned. It adds another layer of cost, another strategic headache, really. You're constantly trying to play catch-up just to stay competitive.
Okay, so bearing those challenges in mind, high costs, integration issues, skills gaps, obsolescence. What does this all mean for the future? Let's sort of zoom in on the key trends that are reshaping this market right now. One major shift we're definitely seeing is towards 3D vision and multi-sensor systems. Manufacturers aren't just relying on one type of measurement anymore. They're combining things like laser, video, even tactile probes sometimes, all into a single platform. This gives you a much more complete picture of an object, not just isolated data points. It makes inspections far more robust, more accurate.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, like we talked about with Industry 4.0, AI is really democratizing these complex inspections. The integration of artificial intelligence and machine learning is honestly a complete game changer. These technologies are dramatically enhancing defect detection, they're optimizing pattern recognition with incredible speed, and they're enabling automated decision-making right there in real time on the factory floor. It means the systems can actually learn from every single inspection they perform. They get smarter, more precise with every part they look at. It's pretty amazing.
And it seems like as tech gets more powerful, it often gets smaller too, right? We're seeing this growing interest in miniaturization and portability for vision systems. You can imagine compact mobile devices empowering decentralized quality control. Technicians could take these powerful measuring tools right to the production line, or maybe even out into the field. This seems particularly impactful for agile production settings where flexibility and quick changes are really important.
Definitely. And finally, we're seeing a really significant expansion beyond just industrial applications. While automotive and aerospace were, the early champions of this technology, these systems are now becoming vital way beyond the traditional factory floor. They're finding indispensable roles in sectors like electronics, making sure circuit boards are perfectly aligned, for example, in healthcare, verifying the precision of surgical instruments, or even looking at cell structures, and in scientific research, too, where precision metrology, that's the science of exact measurement, is just fundamental for any kind of groundbreaking work.
Wow. So this deep dive really underscores just how dynamic the vision measuring systems market is. It's clearly not just some niche industrial sector anymore. It's a critical force driving technological transformation, really enabling that next generation of manufacturing, creating products with precision levels that honestly we probably only dreamed of not that long ago.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe a final thought for you, the listener. Just consider how this sort of invisible hand of hyper-precision measurement, which is enabled by these systems, how it quietly underpins the reliability and the innovation of almost every advanced product we use today, from the phone in your pocket to life-saving medical devices. So the
Sure.
question is, what new innovations, or maybe even entirely new industries, might be unlocked when measurement precision gets even closer to, well, absolute perfection? What becomes possible then?